This is where a lot of people disagree with me because they think I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to type 1 versus type 2 diabetes. But the title of our podcast today is Medication Alone Cannot Control Diabetes. And that is type 2 or type 1.
Right.
It does not matter, no matter what the dietitian at the hospital tells you, no matter what your doctor tells you. If you're type 1 diabetic, you can't eat everything you want and expect to control your diabetes, period. It's not about turning your insulin pump up or using a longer acting insulin or using more insulin or using faster acting insulin. It's not about that at all. You have to control your diet, Janet.
Absolutely. And, one of the things that is kind of a misconception, I think, in our society today is that if you call somebody out on their diet, then you're shaming people. It's not about shaming when it comes to healthcare or actually wellness care. I mean, let's define that wellness, right? So we have a family member that has type 1 diabetes, and you have to control the problem. And the problem comes down to two things for a type 1. How much insulin your body is able to produce on its own, or how much insulin you are having to inject. But where it really boils down to is how many carbohydrates, which are sugars, that you are consuming. And you cannot get away without watching how many carbohydrates you're consuming. And it doesn't matter if you're a type 1 or type 2 on this issue, because just because you consumed 300 calories, for example, and most of it are carbs, you still have to deal with the sugar that your body cannot respond to or deal with.
So then you would have to give more insulin. So the reality of it is diabetes, type 1 or type 2, we just described that. It's a carbohydrate metabolism problem.
Correct.
Period. They are treated differently or manifest differently in the body. They don't necessarily need to be treated much differently, honestly. Well, that's not true, because type 1 does need insulin.
Right.
Type 2, you do not need insulin.
No.
In fact, you have too much insulin.
Right.
So if your doctor, if your healthcare practitioner is prescribing you insulin and telling you need insulin, you need a new doctor. I'm serious. Because that is not, it is like giving insulin to a type 2 diabetic.
It's putting gas on a
like
fire.
Putting gasoline on a house fire. Seriously, you already have enough insulin.
Right.
What were you going to say, Janet?
Well, in the case of a type 2, your body is not responding. You're resistant to the insulin that your body's making. So that's why we're saying if you add more insulin to the issue, you're just putting more gasoline there. It's not that your pancreas can't produce the insulin. It's that your body is so inflamed it doesn't know how to respond to that hormone. And let's really be honest. It's a hormone that's being triggered by your body to be released into the system. So the way you control this is with what we put in our mouth and our stomach. And it's not about being rude, and it's not about judgment. It's just being very honest that you can't keep putting sugar and insulin into your body and expect results, because those results that that you are getting are not being healthy for the outcome that you would like to achieve. And personally, it's not about judgment here. I mean, because I think that's one thing that I've seen over social media and over time is that you're judging people. No, we're telling people that the tool that you need to achieve the outcome is to lower the amount of sugar you are consuming in your diet. Because if you can lower that, then you aren't needing to have these interventions that have side effects to them.